Dearest love, sometimes the world is a funny place filled with hidden mysteries that, if we all knew, maybe we will be a little bit more careful in our dealings. It was a surprise when he found out that one woman that had surprised him in a time of need happens to be the wife of one of the most troublesome workers at his workplace. Strange that the day he found out was the day there was actually a decision that if another incident arose, this troublesome man would be sacked. And now he found she was his wife. She was with a child and life was not that good. And an unemployed husband would worsen matters. And seeing this, he convinced the rest of the management to give him another chance. He was now the voice that speaks for the same man that has been a thorn in his flesh and the weak link in the chain of work. This man would not let up. He actually believed in himself so much, always telling others that he knew his work and did it well, and so no one can sack him without the company suffering for it. The very one who spoke for him was also the very one he disrespected the most because he was his supervisor. He would sometimes talk to this woman to try and convince him to humble himself and work as part of the team because his job was on the line. And he was afraid that though he wanted to help the woman whom he felt he was indebted to, this man was making it almost impossible. There was no change in this man. And as time went by and he seemed not to have anyone talk about his case, he got even worse, and his boss got all the headache, suffering his disrespect and also the pressure from above to get rid of him, and also trying hard to do a favor to this woman who had shown him kindness. One day he had heard something about what this man had done to the wife. He had called the woman and she had tried to defend her man, but he had seen through it. It was one thing to suffer from his pride and arrogance, but to have him take his issue on his wife who was saving him broke the camel's back. Since he was the one always holding others back on taking a decision on this man, he took his long-awaited leave, which he had been postponing so he can be around to calm matters and save this man whom he now felt he can no longer defend. He handed over to another manager, and by the time he returned, this guy had done what he normally does and was already on suspension. And when he got in, nothing he could say could save him, and he was sacked, and the company he thought could not survive without him went on peacefully. He was not humbled by what had happened. He still was in town accusing everybody but himself. But there he was, having nothing, and his wife had to move back to her parents. So it is written, pride is the first step toward destruction. Proud thoughts will lead you to defeat. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. Sometimes when we think we are greatest, the real truth may be that someone else is holding us up. When you think you are most perfect, in actual sense, someone else is perfecting you. When you think you can afford everything, in truth, someone may be paying the extras you could never afford. And in this, we are called to be humble. For if you were by yourself whole, you would never fall. If you think you are better than others, when you really aren't, you are wrong. Do your own work well, then you will have something to be proud of. But don't compare yourself with others. Galatians chapter 6, verse 3 to 4. Stay blessed, trust and obey, for there is no other way. Okay.